Good morning, and now we are ready to start session 1 called Setting the Scene. I'm Cecilia Valle. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce Professor Beate Sjåfjell, who is the innovative and visionary leader of this project called Sustainable Companies, and leading the conference today, We Make It Happen. Usually law is characterized as being traditional and backward-looking, and this project gives us great pride because it is future-oriented and points to the possibilities that we can engage with society to create a better future for the next generations. She's going to explain now the goals and the research and the cross-jurisdictional research that seeks to integrate the goal of sustainable development into the minds of decision makers within companies. Please welcome Beate Sjåfjell.
Thank you very much for that, and I would especially like to thank the Minister of Climate and Environment, Tine Sundtoft, and all the other speakers today. And we are not doing things in a traditional way here, as Cecilia just pointed out. So instead of giving our Minister of Climate and Environment some flowers that are dying to thank her, we will plant trees to thank you and the other speakers. So we will send confirmation on email. In a typical Norwegian style, as the head of the project, a part of my job is also to share some practical information with you. So I will start by saying that I hope that everybody got their conference booklet. If not, pick it up in the next break. Also, the ladies and gents, the restrooms, or whatever name we here in Norway, we just call them the toilets. There are a couple straight out here on the right-hand side, but there are also more out in the hall and downstairs. So no reason to panic if there's a long queue outside here. We have 3 wonderful assistants helping us today, in addition to Mona, our administrative person in the project. Elisabeth, Elin, and Helene, if you would just stand up quickly so everybody can see who you are. If you have any questions during the conference, these are our best helpers. And then the last bit of practical information, as you may have seen in the email that I sent out, in this grand hall, beautifully restored, no beverages at all are allowed. But there will be beverages in the breaks, but don't take them inside here. This project, I started working in this area 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, working on my doctoral thesis in company and financial market law. I was told very clearly then by my older, more experienced, most of them male, all of them actually, think about it, male company law professor colleagues, that you cannot talk about environmental issues or human rights issues in company law. It doesn't belong there. You're in the wrong department. You're in the wrong field if you care about investigating whether environmental issues or other social issues should be integrated. So I found this very inspiring, and continued with my thesis as planned. And I was very happy then in January 2010 to be able to start up the Sustainable Companies project, which is then a follow-up, a way of trying to answer the questions that I concluded my thesis with. We started in January 2010 as a really small group. We had got some financing from the Research Council of Norway, which was a good help. But the really exciting thing about this project has been the way that it has grown. It has obviously fulfilled a need in progressive company law scholars around the world to be a part of a project that does more than create value for shareholders, which is important but needs to be put into perspective. I think building a new legal infrastructure which will allow every company on its own and individual and innovative way to create sustainable value within the limits of the planet, I think that is the most important job we have as business law scholars. And the way that the Sustainable Companies project team grew from 3-4 people to over 40 people has shown that this is something that resonates deeply with many of you. And I'm very grateful for this, and very happy that we have been able to work together in such a fantastic way with our common goal of finding out how to integrate environmental concerns better into the decision-making in companies. Because the project started out with the hypothesis that it cannot be correct that one area of law should be totally ignored, that the area of law dealing with the decision-making in companies shouldn't be considered when we're trying to find out how to get companies to contribute towards sustainability. As legal scholars, we sat down together and found out that the best way to do this was to first investigate what are the barriers and possibilities within company law, with the rules that set up the decision-making processes in the companies and that regulate these groups, these enormous enterprises that dominate our economies. And what about accounting and auditing, this reporting that is used as a compromise fix whenever policymakers want companies to consider something? What is really the deal here? What are the barriers and possibilities within these areas of law for sustainable companies? We did a very thorough job with mapping these issues, with investigating these issues in jurisdictions all across the world. It has been really fantastic how all the team members have contributed, most of them on their own research time and most of them with no pay from our side apart from being taken out for dinner when they come here for a conference. And based on that, we have, as you will hear during the conference today, we have identified great possibilities within the current regime, but also very clear barriers that need to be dismantled. And these reform proposals that we will present here today by Sustainable Companies Project team members and by other progressive international legal scholars that have responded to our call for papers, that is the beginning of finding out how to dismantle these barriers so that company law and the adjacent areas of law can become parts of the jigsaw puzzle of sustainability that we need to put together, and we need to do it fast. So the Sustainable Companies Project, as a Research Council financed project, ends on the 31st of December this year. That is why this is the final conference of this project as such. But our work does not end on the 31st of December. So this is not the end of our work. This is the end of the beginning. Thank you.